altering lesson is about 3 different approaches that you can take to play mind-blowing solos. So let's begin, and the first approach is when we take an existing solo from the original recording of the song. Doesn't matter if it's a guitar solo or trumpet solo or whatever it is, and we just take it to our harmonica. Maybe we change it a bit to fit our own style, but basically, yes, what we do is we steal a solo that already works, and stealing is great and it just works. We just know that it works because it already sounds great in the original recording. The second and third approaches are what I call the 80-20 approaches, and both of them are made from different ingredients, different 80% and different 20%. What do I mean by that? In the second approach, I am going to show you how we are 80% doing complete improvisations using our harmonica, and 20% we are taking a familiar beats or bits from the original melody of the song, from what the singer is singing. So this gives the listeners something recognizable to hang on to, and this makes any solo much better than just complete improvisation that might sound out of context. So this is the second approach, and the third approach is that our 80% is the song's melody. So we basically take what the singer is singing and we play it on the harmonica, which is great and very recognizable. But then also 20% we are going to add some improvisations, we're going to add some riffs here and there to make it even cooler. So we will explain a bit more about each one of those, and let's start diving deeper and see more examples. Anyway, let's begin with the first approach, where we are going to be taking a solo that was played on another instrument and moving it to our harmonica. Here is where I am going to take my inspiration from. This is the song Wagon Wheel, and it has a great fiddle solo. Fiddle is you can call it the American country version of a violin. Here is the original solo, then I will play for you my take on it on the harmonica. Isn't that incredible? Now here's the harmonica version, and don't forget, when you take a solo from a different place, you can feel free to change it up a bit to fit your style and to fit the harmonica. Let's see it.
Hey, hey, mama rock me.
I hope you enjoyed this, and let's have a couple of words about this approach. So first of all, in general, like I already said, it sounds great because when you will start soloing and you will play something familiar, people will be like, that's cool, we know that solo, but he's playing that on the harmonica. You really cannot deny that it's cool. Now, when you think of which solo you want to choose for this steal, pick a solo that you think will sound good on the harmonica, because obviously some solos don't really make the cut, don't really make the transition well for the harmonica. Example. Okay, and now when you have a solo that you think will work well on the harmonica, this is really the part of the hard work where you need to sit down and figure out the notes of the original solo on the harmonica, and the harmonica is diatonic, so it's easier to figure out stuff by ear than any other instrument because you only have the notes of the scale. But also sometimes you will encounter notes that you don't have on the harmonica, for example, exactly because of the reason I just mentioned. So now it will be up to you and your creativity to find other notes and other workarounds that you think will sound just as good or will sound better. And in general, it's really up to you in terms of how much you want to take from that original solo and how much you want to make it yourself and just improvise yourself and take it to your own direction. To cap off this first approach, I'm going to show you another example, this time on another song where the solo, the original solo, is played on a trumpet, and it is much simpler than the original first solo that I played. So I also highly recommend it as a place to begin with this approach. So here it is, Justin Bieber, Love Yourself. move on to the second approach, and in the second approach we are doing 80% improvisation with 20% from the original melody of the song. So what I mean exactly, for example, let's use the example of the song Stand By Me. So it's my time to solo, there's an empty verse, I'm just going to start improvising to my heart's content, like you always do with the harmonica. You just take the harmonica in the right key, in this case first position, so Stand By Me, I'm going to play it in the key of E. I have a harmonica in the key of E, but I'm not going to be completely just improvising, because for example there is that piece where the song goes Stand By Me, so I'm going to add that little bit of famous melody on the harmonica into my solo. Stand by me. Here's my example over Stand By Me.
By me, oh, stand by me.
I hope you enjoyed, and the main thing to remember for this approach is that while it might work if you just improvise right on that spot for that song, it will obviously be much better if you already know the original song's melody on your harmonica beforehand, so when it's your time and people will notice that you are trying to play one of those recognizable melodies, you are not going to crash it with some wrong notes, but you're just going to nail that melody and people will really like it. Anyway, so this is it. This is the second approach, 80% improv, 20% melody. Let's move on to the third approach. And the third approach is going to be exactly the opposite. We're doing mostly just playing the song's melody on the harmonica, while also adding a couple of riffs and maybe even going to little solos here and there in between the melody itself. The main things to understand about this approach is that this time you really have to know the song's melody well beforehand if you want to be able to play it with confidence and you want people to look over to the harmonica solo that is playing and just be like, this guy knows his stuff. And then you're also going to masterfully add those riffs on top of it, and it's just going to sound great. So a more in-depth example of how to use this technique is, let's take these two phrases from the actual melody of Knocking on Heaven's Doors. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's doors. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's doors. And on the harmonica, phrase 1. So when we are playing that, what you want to do is sometimes in between those phrases, those real phrases from the melody, sometimes, not between all of them, you can throw in your own riff. For example, anyway, so this is today's video. I hope you had a great time. Now it's your turn to improvise yourself and to improve. So grab your harmonicas. You're going to need one in the key of G, one in the key of E, and let's start playing those backing tracks. If you want to skip to different parts, to different songs in the backing tracks, check out the description because there are timestamps for each one of the songs. Have a great time.
Mama, rock me.
something, you should go and love yourself. If you like the way you look that much, oh baby, you should go and love your...
By me, oh, stand by me.